Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Tips Talk with JJ King. Autism Tips Talk with JJ King. We are live, and we are basically going to talk about some really important topics today. But you know what I'm saying? It's so important for us to understand what these tips are about. These tips are for us to understand and educate ourselves about autism. It's so important. We could have people around us that basically have autism and we don't even know it. So it's so important for us to take the time to understand what autism is and understand that there are people that's walking around right now and you don't even know that they have autism. The one fact that I basically, I looked at online and I found these pictures, I found some things, and I was just like, you know what? Let's talk about this today, right? I realized that there's a lot of people that's around me that have trouble making eye contact, difficulty listening, slow to respond to verbal requests, not able to sustain a long back and forth conversation, sensitive to changes, noise, light, or other sensory outputs, great ability to remember detailed facts and numbers. See, there's a lot of people around here that, may have not been diagnosed, but you could tell that they have a lot of qualities or, that are pretty much symptoms of autism. And so it's so important for you to look at these things and say, hey, like I noticed these things. And even with some people who have not been diagnosed, not telling you to go and tell somebody you got autism. No, that's not our responsibility. That is, the doctor's responsibility to assess them and to basically make that judgment call. But however, it is necessary for us to take the time to recognize that these symptoms of autism are very important for us to be able to look at our children, look at the people that surround us, our neighbors and stuff like that, find out whether, these are some symptoms in which they have. And then, kindly tell them, like, listen, maybe this is something that's going on here. Maybe we need, especially with us teachers and different ones of social workers, or those who are working in the counseling field. I mean, these are a lot of characteristics that we need to take time and just, really look at. So the next thing is that was very important to me that I found was that 1 out of every 68 children have autism. That's a huge number when it comes to when you're thinking about children in America, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race you are, what place where you live at. It doesn't matter. Autism is everywhere. It's all across the globe. And you know what? And it may not be as big as in another country as it is in our country, but it's necessary for us to look at it and say, hey, this is something that is going on right now in our country, and we need to take time to look at these situations and say, you know what, hey, this is real. Even in the Black community, in the Hispanic community, it is very necessary for us to look at these things and not take this for granted, because a lot of time our children are being misdiagnosed and being told that they have ADHD when there's sometimes, or they just being told that they have negative behavior, or they're being told that, they're just being ornery, they're just being bad, they're not listening. And they can literally have, Asperger's, they can have, because they could be very well high functioning, but autism is within 1 out of every 68 children in this world. I mean, in this country. So we need to understand that. We need to understand that concept. This isn't something for us to just take lightly, but it's something for us to really recognize that there are there are symptoms for us to actually look at and see, so that we can, actually take our children and get them evaluated. Another, saying is just the cost of autism, for a yearly, for just one child. Do you understand why there's so much where people don't go out here and say, listen, my child, you know what I'm saying, or get their child assessed or whatever, because it's a major cost. And that's the reason why a lot of people right now with autism, or, you know, families that have a child with autism, they're afraid to go out here because they know it's going to cost more money on the back end. That's why we really got to take time to think about this, you know, and get this country in order to where we're able to help those people, those families with autism, and have centers like I'm trying to build right here in Fayetteville, Georgia, you know, a center that is going to be able to bless those children with autism, those families with autism, you know, to educate the community about what autism is. You know, and you know, that's a misconception that all of them are the same. They're not all the same. So it's necessary for us to take the time to recognize that autism has so many different blends of colors and people, and it's good for us to step out of ourselves and really, really take time to help. Another is over 20% of the U.S. population still believe that vaccines cause autism. That's not true. Vaccination does not cause autism. Now, there's so many different aspects to it, that, you know, we can't really say this is why autism happened, but to believe that they're here. Those children are here. They've been born into this world, and these are the situations that they're going through. So let's take the time to help them. Let's begin to start bringing some mental awareness out here and begin to start helping each other socially so that we can grow and potentially help them to be able to, you know, be introduced into society to where they're influencing. Do you know that there's so many different people right now that have autism and they're successful and they're doing great things? So it's so important that you understand that autism is not a deficiency. It's not something to say they're not enough or they can't do. They can, but they need help. They need help in those ways to help them, to encourage them to improve, and let's help them build and be structured. Just like, because I'm going to tell you, a lot of times where we think that we're helping them, they're actually helping us, because they're helping us to find the qualities of life that we need, the love that we need, the actual spirit of giving and serving that we need to have in this community and in this lifetime. So, you know, a couple of, you know, facts I wanted to, you know, really touch right here. It says many autistic people feel emotions intensely and can be overwhelmed by the emotions of others. This is so true. It's so true. Working with autism children and working with autistic adults, I find that they are very emotional. They're very emotionally attached. They get attached to things, and you know what? And they love those people that are around them all the time. It's, you know, they love to have those people there and they connect with them. And so, you know, understand that sometimes when these things are taken from them, they take it harder than most. But that don't you understand that that's really the love of our God? He loves us enough to where, you know, he doesn't want us to be apart from him. He loves us to have a hold us close. So I do think that they have the love of God in them, and they love hard. And that's the way that we're supposed to be. Autism fact number 2, repetitive behavior like flapping or rocking can help some autistic people deal with stress and feel better. These are sensory things. Sometimes they need that to be able to cope. But how many of us actually do have those situations? I mean, sometimes I'll bite my lip. And people be like, oh, that's a tick, whatever. No, I just bite my lip because I'm thinking. So these are the things that sometimes we think, oh, there's something wrong with them. There's something wrong. No, that we all have different things of how we deal with things, how we cope. So it's good for us to you know, have a little diversity, understand that culture, that diversity, understand that mentally we can be also diverse and we can have different ways of thinking and dealing with things. So let's have an open mind here. Autistic people learn a lot about a topic they like, which could be anything. Do you understand? I've literally sat there and had conversations with someone who had autism, and they were adults. And they literally talked to me about years of politics. Do you understand? They told me everything since the time that they were born, even before they were born, dates and everything. They told me about what this person did, what that person. It was amazing. So it's so necessary for you to understand that they love something and they put their all into it. So when they put their all into it, they love it. The fourth thing is fascination and routines can be important for people on the autistic spectrum. They love going in the same direction they go. How many of us do that though? You have a special way that you desire to get to work, right? You got a special way because you feel like that's the fastest way to get to work. People with autism feel like the way and the direction that they're doing it is safe for them. So that's what they do. They operate in that direction. They do things according to that schedule, even if it's not, your favorite thing to do or your favorite direction to take. That's what makes them comfortable. Some people, someone that you might want to look at is, if you ever watch The Big Bang Theory, look at, I believe his name, I forgot his name. It's not Spencer. Oh, man. I'm sitting there thinking of his name. Well, it'll come back to me. But, Sheldon. That's the name, Sheldon. Sheldon, he is so quirky. He is so amazing. He's so smart. He knows what he knows. And he likes to keep the same schedule. He doesn't like to get off schedule. He likes to sit in the same seat. He loves to do those things. Those are autistic characteristics. And what happens is, with him, it could be Asperger's because, he literally has a high IQ. He has a high IQ, very able to, to communicate and talk. And, but it's just that he lacks social skills. And that's one thing that you have to realize is sometimes that socially, they may not connect with you on the social level that you think they should. And it may seem awkward, but at the same time, they're beautiful. They're wonderful people because they love hard. And when they get you around them, they don't want to let you go. Most autistic children go to mainstream schools. You wouldn't even know it. They go to mainstream schools while others require support at special schools. A lot of them go to your schools and you say, oh, they're weird. They're the ones that you don't want to be around. But let's get our perception of what cool looks like. Let's get our perception of what we think is supposed, because over time we have drawn to this conclusion that everybody's supposed to be the same. Diversity is a beautiful thing, and our country has a bunch of diversity in it. It's called the Great Mountain Pot, right? And it's beautiful to see that we have so many different cultures, so many different blends and beautiful, colors here. But the one thing that we have fallen into, is the trap of believing everyone is supposed to act the same and be the same. So I want to leave on this note right here. I want to leave on a note of letting everyone know that these autism facts is to help you to become educated about mental health, but about autism. Understand that the people who have autism, they are not a cancer to the society. They are not a bruise on society. They're not a bruise on your family, but they are the love that we need. They are the blend that we need. And I'm just telling you to create this oasis of love in our environments. Help people to understand that autism is not something that we need to fear, but it's something that we need to love and embrace and help people to grow, help them grow, help families grow. I find that when we step into those places with those families are going through a lot because they don't know how to get through this. Think about it. What I just said, it costs like literally $60,000 a year to help this autistic child or family member. We can really, really use to help these young people and help these adults with autism. God bless you and have a good day.